About 3,000 hectares of vegetation has burnt in the Table Mountain National Park fire. 4 helicopters have been deployed to waterbomb the flames above Tokai. SANParks says the fire remains uncontained and is burning close to Boys Drive above St. James and Kalk Bay and stretches between Kaapse and Steenberg Peak. Our reporter Vanessa Puna and video journalist Lucanio Mazantancia are in Tokai.
Table Mountain National Park says about 3,000 hectares of veldt has burnt in the blaze, currently still being fought above Tokai, as well as on the other side above Kalk Bay. I'm joined now by Table Mountain National Park Manager Megan Taplin for an update. Megan, good afternoon to you. Of course, I see and I hear helicopters, about 3 of them we've seen today, water bombing this area here in Upper Tokai for the past few hours already. In terms of what has been taking place and in terms of the status of this fire, can you give us an update at this hour?
Yes, the fire is still actively burning on 2 different fronts. The one is at Boys Drive above St. James and Kalk Bay. The other is between Kaapse and Steenberg Peak. Here you can see it in the background, which is burning down towards Tokai. We do have 4 helicopters that are active at the moment, bombing the fire, as well as 120 firefighters who are on the ground from multiple agencies.
I suppose this would be the hot spot then, because most of the firefighting efforts, I think, are centered here, specifically the aerial resources. We know that people have been evacuated yesterday. Have there been any further evacuations today?
Not that we know of today. There were the retirement villages and frail cares that were evacuated near Kaapse yesterday afternoon, as well as some of the Upper Tokai residents from Swansvik that were evacuated, but their houses are currently not under threat. We work with the City of Cape Town as well as Provincial Disaster Management to manage these evacuations as we see where the fire is burning, to see if there are any houses that are under threat.
Because that was the concern at this stage, if there is any threat to properties or to homes at this stage, and you say that's not the case.
Not that we know of at the moment. As you can see, the fire is over quite a wide extent, so we're trying to manage it on many different fronts. We did have some damage yesterday in the silver mine area of Table Mountain National Park, where the fire went quite quickly through that area, and there were the ablutions there near the silver mine dam did get burnt, as well as some of the boardwalks and signage, and there were also some vehicles that were caught in the fire.
Megan, early on asked you about the cause of this fire, and you also said that there were 3 fires. Explain to me, just taking back to Friday when these fires started up until now, and what the preliminary investigations point to at this stage.
Yes, the fire started on Friday evening, 25th of April. There looked like there were 3 ignition points, so there were 3 separate fires that were started. We did have firefighters on the scene quite quickly, and we did manage through Saturday to contain those fires. As with all fires where we investigate what the causes were, it seems to point towards that it was malicious intent. The way that the fires were started and the locations where they were started show that, but we will only be able to conclude the investigation once it's safe to go back into those areas. As I said, it was contained on the Saturday, but then on Sunday the wind changed direction and the wind became much stronger, causing the fire to start burning a lot more actively and spreading rapidly.
You talk about weather conditions. The wind has picked up a bit, and it's also quite hot still. Forecast for the rest of the week and in terms of the rest of the day to try and get these flames under control.
Well, we were hoping, or this morning it was actually a lot cooler than yesterday, and the wind was a lot less strong, so that did aid this morning, although our helicopters couldn't take off at first light because there was a very low level of smoke and mist in the area which hampered their efforts, but luckily that's cleared up a bit. We're hoping that the conditions will stay a bit cooler through the rest of this week, and we're also hoping, there are a few predictions of rain, we're hoping that we'll get lots of rain so that it will really assist us in getting the fire contained.
Thank you so much for your time, Megan Taplin, of course, the park manager for Table Mountain National Parks, just giving us an update with regards to the firefighting efforts. Just over 120 firefighters still actively fighting this fire, along with 4 helicopters that are battling the blaze and concentrating today in Upper Tokai, where the fire just behind me is raging. And of course, we've seen a number of water drops over the past few hours as the helicopters battle to bring this blaze under control.